And unlike the first debate, the stakes are high for both candidates, not just Mitt Romney. The president under pressure to make up for his dismal performance in Denver. But will he rise above the pressure or crack under it? KT McFarland is a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense and Fox News contributor. Ford O'Connell is the chairman for the Civic Forum PAC and a former McCain advisor. Ford, I'm starting with you. So interestingly, Pew polled folks about their expectations for tonight, and Americans give it to the president. They say he will win tonight, 41% to 37%. What are your expectations?
You know, I think that's about right. Look, I've campaigned against both Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, and I think that Barack Obama is a little bit better in this setting. I think the key really for Barack Obama is to go out there and say, look, America's recovering. Mitt Romney's plans for the future are hogwash, and they're going to hurt America. And Mitt Romney's got to counter with that, saying, hey, look, I got a plan to make America recover faster, and my policies on balance will improve the lives of all Americans over the next 4 years. That's really what they're going to try to do there. Romney really needs to say that the president doesn't have a plan moving forward, and Barack Obama wants to say, hey, Mitt Romney's plans, are worthless, and he doesn't really provide you with any specifics.
Well, certainly the economy is going to be a big part of the debate tonight, no question about it. But we had another story. It's actually been on the front burner for about 4 weeks now, and that's Libya. I want you to hear today, last night that is, Hillary Clinton taking responsibility for the murder of our ambassador there. Listen to this.
I'm responsible for the State Department, for the more than 60,000 people around the world. The decisions about security assets are made by security professionals, but we're going to review everything to make sure that we're doing what needs to be done in an increasingly risky environment.
So, KT, this was a shocker. I don't think anybody expected this. Hillary taking responsibility for this last night. Is this going to be a part of the debate? And is there a political component of this, do you think?
Yeah, I think that she's thrown herself under the bus. She said, I take responsibility. Remember last week in the vice presidential debates, Vice President Biden said it was the State Department's fault. They were responsible for security, not us. It was the intelligence community's fault. They were responsibility for feeding us faulty intelligence. Me and the president, we didn't know anything about it. I think that the important thing, though, especially if average guys are asking the question, is most people don't really want to know the specific details of what happened in Libya or the specific percentages of unemployment. They just want to get on with their lives, and they want to make sure that somebody's in charge who's taking responsibility. And if you've got a president who says the bad economy is George Bush's fault, well, the price of oil is the Europeans' fault, or the problem in Benghazi and in Libya, that's the State Department's fault. At a certain point, people just want somebody to take responsibility and to deal with it.
Ford, when you look at this, I mean, is this going to play out of the polls? I mean, it has been a debate. The story's been going on now for a month. I never expected it to last this long. Big questions about whether the administration is hiding what it knew, when it knew it. Do you expect this to resonate with voters?
I think it could resonate with voters. It's up to how far Mitt Romney wants to push it, because it really goes to the leadership component of it. Really, remember, Barack Obama's been on the campaign trail saying, hey, we killed bin Laden. Let me translate that for you. I am strong on terrorism. This was a terrorist attack, and essentially the question is, was this incompetence or you're not in control? Either way, it could be failed leadership, particularly when he goes out 2 weeks after the situation, goes before the UN and says, hey, it was an Islamic video, and this was a little get-together, that wasn't meant to be a terrorist attack. And I think that's something that Mitt Romney should focus on.
Doesn't this just bring up all of Obama's Middle East policy? I mean, now aren't we focused on everything that's happened to date?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is that 5 days before that attack, President Obama was at the Democratic Convention, and he said, Al-Qaeda is finished. They're on their heels. We've won the war on terror. 5 days later, what do you have? You have an attack and an American ambassador getting killed. So it really does call into question the whole Middle East policy. Well, if Al-Qaeda's dead, what are they doing having a successful attack? If the war on terror is over, why are they spreading throughout the region? So I think it calls into question the entire policy, not just what happened specifically on this day or on that day, or who failed to pick up the phone and tell the president.
Ford, you were mentioning before the economy, and there's no doubt that's going to be a big topic of debate tonight, considering that most of the questioners are regular Americans who are probably worried about their jobs, concerned about this economy that can't seem to go anywhere. A lot of focus on how this debate is going to happen, that it's a town hall. Candy Crowley wants to ask questions. She's been told not to do that. What do you make of this debate? About the debate?
Well, the town hall format doesn't really lend itself to the UFC cage-style match that we saw in the VP debate. It's a little bit more of a, like The View, like Oprah. Style matters more than substance. But really, I think what voters here want to see, because they're the focal point, the people that are asking the question is, can you convince me that you have a plan forward for the future and that you will make all lives of Americans better overall? I think that's really what they have to do. And the candidates are really going to have to focus on body language and answering these questions directly. And I think a lot of them are going to try to weave in personal stories. And if I'm Mitt Romney, I want to talk up Ohio, but they're really going to try to channel their inner Bill Clinton and then turn, pivot, and say, here's where, my opponent's policies are weak.
KT, I can't think of people better prepared to ask questions than regular Americans. What do you say?
Well, absolutely. And remember where this is taking place. This is Nassau County. It's considered one of the most Republican counties historically. And there are a lot of former military people there or retired uniformed policemen, firemen. Who's going to ask that question to say, are you cutting my benefits? Are you going to protect my kids? Yeah. So I think that, in fact, it's a pretty good place to have some pretty real questions.
It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. I'll be watching. I know that the two of you will, too. KT and Ford, thanks for coming on tonight. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Gerri.